Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Community Connection, where we're connecting you to some of the coolest and best work for children and family in the community. And we have a guest I know you'll be interested. But I've missed being here last couple of weeks. I've been sick, and the thing I miss the most is my playful, meaningful banter with Gen Z's ambassador to the baby boomers, the Melvinator.
It's good to have you back, Mr. Day.
Yeah? Did you miss me?
I did. I really did.
What did you miss about me?
I missed the unpredictability, not knowing what's going to come my way at the beginning of the broadcast.
Okay. Well, we're talking about school. And you just recently graduated from middle school, right?
From middle school, yeah. I'm 15 years old.
Well, from my perspective, you do look 15 years old.
Hey, I've gotten it before.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well,
people guess under and over. So I'm usually
not right
somewhere
there,
in the middle
somewhere
of
in the middle.
what people think. Yeah.
Well, thank you for letting me tease you.
Always.
I've missed that for the last couple of weeks.
Yes, me too.
Hey, and our co-host today is a familiar face and voice to those of you who watch Community Connection. Nicolette is with us. The thing I like about Nicolette is her hats. She's a hat lady, and I really like the hat today.
Oh, thank you. I chose a new one for you.
Just for me, huh?
I did.
What is there a decision-making process for hats? Is it feel? Is it day, weather? What is it?
It depends on where I'm going to be and who's going to see me.
Okay.
But also a little bit of extra flair. Today I have a bike on my hat because we're heading into spring.
Oh, well, I wouldn't have got that, so thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always good to have you on, and you know our guest. You've had some working relationship with our guest, so why don't you introduce us?
Yeah, it'd be my privilege. You guys are really going to enjoy spending some time this morning with Susan McCafferty. She is the Youth and Family Specialist with Bedford County Schools, and I've gotten to know her over the last several years because we have a connection professionally as Kinship Navigator was developed. I don't know if she realizes this. She was a bit of a mentor to me in the beginning.
I did not.
Yes.
You just made my day.
I'm so glad to make your day. Yeah, Susan was my go-to with lots of questions, and she became such a solid person to be able to introduce me to the world of DSS in a different light than what I had experienced previously. So, Susan, will you tell us a little bit about yourself, your professional journey?
Mm-hmm. So, my name is Susan McCafferty, and I have recently started working with Bedford County Schools as a youth and family specialist. Prior to that, I worked for Lynchburg DSS in the foster care unit for approximately 7 years. And then prior to that, I worked for Johnson Health Center, just helping folks in the community with Johnson Health Center connect to resources. So just always been driven by just trying to help people and try to create strong and safe communities.
Mm-hmm.
So being in this space of helping people and trying to create communities that are strong and safe is often a calling. Sometimes there's a why behind it. You want to share with us a little bit about your why?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in working class Philadelphia. I would say more of like working poor, working class. Grew up in inner city Philadelphia until I left at about the age of 21. So I would say my experience growing up in the inner city was just seeing the struggles for people in everyday life. People working really hard and still not having enough to make ends meet, trying to get medical care needs met, dental care needs met, food resources, and just really spending my youth observing the struggles and really good, kind people most of the time wanting to share with one another and help each other out. But I think with having those life struggles all the time, you can see where people start to get worn down. And so you see a lot of addictions start setting in families, and you start seeing domestic violence issues taking place, and just a lot of observing children not getting their needs met, and you'd see other community members, other folks in the neighborhood. You know, if there was just a family that was really struggling hard and the kids weren't getting what they need, you would see a neighbor step in and try to help those kids. And, you know, whether it be clothes or shoes or food, I think people just had a sense for what others needed and, you know, tried to help as best they could. So it's just something, it really made an impression on me, just seeing the struggles and even being around folks who couldn't read, like adults who struggled to read, and just the whole impact that has on the family. And I mean, to be honest with you, my dad struggled with being able to read. I would say he basically couldn't read. But watching him go to work every day, trying to struggle through life with not having that skill, and then how would it impact like what he could do with himself? Like he delivered furniture for him. That's what he did for a living, and he never could drive the truck because there were certain things that you needed to be able to do that he couldn't do, and so he's always kind of like a helper. But it put a lot of stress on him, and so, you know, just being aware and sensitive to what other people are dealing with and coping with in their daily life, and trying to support and aid people, but with kindness and just, you know, I'm here to help. I'm not looking for you to acknowledge that I'm, you know, helping you. I'm just here to help. Like, that's what we're all here for, and maybe one day I'll need your help as well.
I really appreciate you sharing that personal side of that. Was there must have been a helping ethic in your family, or someplace where you said you didn't see yourself as maybe part of the problem, but as part of the solution, right? But, I mean, what clicked at some point where you said, I'm going to pursue this professionally, to be a professional helper?
I started to get really interested just in child development. I don't know if that makes sense.
Sure it
or
does.
I can't even tell you what age. I do remember my mother used to read the Philadelphia Inquirer, and there always used to be an article in there from T. Barry Brazelton. I don't know. I mean, lots of people probably. He's from a long time ago, and he was an expert in child development. Do you know him?
I do know that name.
Okay.
Yes, I do know that name.
So I used to read his articles and stuff, and just very interested in, and I became very interested in knowing how to have children grow up in healthy ways, and getting to understand the connection of just healthier communities, and you know, how can we avoid or avoid like addiction and all those things that people struggle with on a daily basis. And so it's always driven me towards social work and just helping people get needs met.
I think it's such a neat illustration that it happened to be your mother's consumption of media that was shared with you, because so often we're certainly in a stage now where media looks very different, but it wasn't intentional parenting that caused that to be put in front of you so much as something that was just part of her life that happened to be shared with you. And that's a cool impact that illustrates what we talked about earlier about community and how we can have impact that we're not even aware of. And that was a positive impact you shared.
Yes.
And I love how you took it and then ran with it with your life.
Yeah. And I mean, I can add, I went to Catholic school. So that's a big part of Catholic school. It's service to others. And the high school that I went to was based on St. Teresa of the Little Flower. And so that's very much keeping a mindset of doing small things with great love and being humble about it.
Yeah.
And so that, that influenced me as well, my education. And I was educated by a lot of mostly Catholic nuns. Some, they're pretty strict, but they could be loving and caring at the same time. So that's been an example that has was set for me early on. I've spent 12 years in Catholic school, and it's become a big part of my life, how I was educated in those years.
To say that again, doing small things with great love,
Yes.
and being humble about it.
Yes.
Boy, if we all had that as a personal ethic, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. I've tried to live that way.
Yeah.
I can't say I would say I'm always successful. I've got to remind myself of that. But yeah.
No, but if we all lived by that rule, we wouldn't have to worry about running these big programs because needs would be met in small ways
Right.
all over the community.
Yes.
Yeah,
Talk about
that's
collective
beautiful.
impact.
That would be collective impact
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So, Susan, share with me a little bit about what you're doing now and how pieces of your journey sounds like have translated full well into the role you're in.
So the youth and family specialist is a role in Bedford County Schools where we do try to engage the community to help our families, and we also try to engage families in other ways to help support the educational process. So, we may be, working with a family with the IEP process, the individual education plan, and maybe in working with those families, we want to establish relationship and rapport with them first, and then we find out that maybe they only get paid once a month, and they don't have enough money for their electric bill, or their food only lasts 3 weeks. Then we try to connect them to services out in the community or using the care portal as well, which has been wonderful. In every capacity that I have worked in Lynchburg, the care portal has definitely helped. We just help to get those needs met so that the child is able to come to school and focus on their education. It helps alleviate stress in the home.
Absolutely.
It's just trying to support the family as best we can.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of us stop to think just how critical that is. You have a third grader can't concentrate or misses a lot of school. There's a lot of family issues. That third grader's not going to get third grade back again.
No.
So whatever developmental or intellectual things needed to happen in third grade will be forever missed. And then they're going to have to adjust to that or compensate with that.
Yes.
Right? And so what you're talking about is really, really critical.
Yeah, it's important. It is the little things. It's important for them to come to school and not miss school. And it could be simple things as, maybe a child doesn't have a really nice pair of shoes. And the child's at an age where they're really realizing that their shoes are kind of rough looking. And
Yep.
and the family just may not have the money to purchase the shoes. So a simple thing like buying a new pair of shoes for a third grader to feel proud and to come to school with nice shoes. We have kids that have limited clothing, and especially as they move into middle school and high school, they get to realize that their peers are noticing those things.
Yeah, their closets are very different.
Yeah.
And then as the seasons change, and
Yeah.
my goodness, growth spurts.
Yeah. Simple things like winter coats. Maybe not having a new winter coat, not having the money to have a new winter coat. It's little things like things we take for granted, like body wash, shampoo, soap,
Laundry
socks,
detergent.
laundry detergent, toilet paper, things that, especially I would say right now with the cost of food, some of our families are so focused on trying to keep the food on the table that those other things like having soap and toothpaste and toothbrushes, gas, and I'm bringing it back to Care Portal. It's, thinking about the things that I've put on Care Portal and that my colleagues have put on Care Portal. They are very simple things like trying to get gas cards or trying to get somebody's plumbing fixed because they don't have the money to do it and they don't have any place to wash their dishes. So it makes a big difference when families have basic needs met so that their child can focus on their education.
Let's take a moment, just a quick break. School will be ending here soon, sooner than we realize, and parents may be thinking already, Sarah, summer camp I could send these kiddos to keep them busy and playing and still learning and growing. And in fact, they can. Let's watch this video.
I go to school at Liberty, and I'm about to be a senior in their nursing program. I think I love camp for the same reason that I love nursing. I love being with people. I love to make people laugh. Whether it's my patients in the hospital or it's these kids and I'm singing karaoke to them in the cabin. I just want to make them smile.
I'm studying psychology, so I'm getting my bachelor's in psychology, and then I hope to get my master's in social work. When I first came here and the first week just being thrown in, I was like, I don't think I can do this. I really am not sure if I am cut out to be a camp counselor, because that more fun side of me is not something that is a strong suit. I come in pretty serious. I came in, I guess, kind of this summer being I'm working with kids from hard places. So I need to be the best for them. I need to be trained. I need to kind of have it all together. And I learned that that's not what they need.
Because whether I'm having a hard time and someone can just make me laugh or smile, or actually seeing it with a patient or a kid who's been grateful for just laughing. Someone to say, thank you for sitting with me. Thank you for making me smile. That means the world to me.
They didn't need me to have the best energy. They didn't need me to say the right words. They needed me to just love them. And I would give them this much. And for them, it was some of these kids had never had someone just smile at them, say, you're amazing, you're great. To smile when they smile, to sit with them when they cried, just to be with them has been the coolest thing ever.
The kids that come here, they're the testament. We have parents pick them up at the end of the week and they say, I've never seen them like this, or I've not seen them smile or laugh like this in so long, and they see their kids changed.
The Lord leads people to this camp, and He knew before the beginning of the world that we would all sit in a circle and we would all serve these kids this summer. And we're all broken and we're all from different places, we're all flawed, but He hand chose us for this moment.
So camp really is a special place for kids. So many cool things can happen in 1 week of camp. It's compressed. All this time is compressed, and there's just so much energy and focus, and not a moment is wasted with those kids, right? We value every moment we have with them. So think about camp. Either send a kid or come volunteer, come work. You had a couple family members make cameo in that video, Nicolette.
I did. I saw my daughter, my husband, and a future intern who's serving in the fall with us was highlighted. I was thinking as I was watching that, though, Susan, we were talking earlier about the kinship connection and how often the aunts, uncles, the grandmas, grandpas, they're a different generation, they're a different age group, and they're tired, and they're trying so hard to keep up with these children, their needs, their energy. And what better way to give themselves respite than to send their kids to camp for a week? And this might be a good time to highlight that we can help them with
yes,
that.
We can.
We have scholarships available and support in so many ways. But I'm curious, as you think about the youth and the families that you serve, what kind of connections do you see for them when it comes to community and availability when there's camp and other things headed into the summer?
I can definitely see for our families where camp or having support in the summer for their kids, it would definitely be a great benefit for families to get a little breather and
because some folks are working families, there's still
Yes.
childcare, still an issue, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think camps that are focused, trauma-informed camps that are focused on some of the diagnoses we see with kids, like ADHD and anxiety and depression, we see in children and our teens. So camps that can help them deal with those diagnoses would be wonderful.
Thank you for highlighting that. It's probably my favorite thing about Hat Creek Camp is the way that they're so intentional about making sure staff are trained and confident as they're going to engage with some kids who are just typical and have energy and other kids who have more struggles, more baggage. We do trust-based relational intervention. This year we're doing an elevated version of that that's going to be part of the teaching family model to really encourage the camp counselors and their confidence and their self-efficacy ahead of camp so they're ready when those kids have their meltdowns and when they come in and they start to feel anxious and they're struggling with, nighttime routine changes that just dysregulate them. Really excited to see what the summer has.
Yep.
So what kind of initiatives are happening in the Bedford community, and particularly through the schools, that you would like to highlight, and particularly ways that people in the community could assist or aid you in those?
So one thing that's right off the top of my head, I work in the Liberty Zone. Bedford County school system, it's a big school system. Bedford County is a big county, so we have zones. And we have the Forest Zone, we have the Liberty Zone, which is where I work, and then we have the Stanton River Zone. And I can speak more to my zone because that's where I spend my time, but in the Liberty Zone, we have what's called the Minutemen Market. And in that market, kids can come and shop for free. And it does have things like socks, shoes, pants, T-shirts. We keep a supply of deodorant, body wash, soap. We have toilet paper, paper towels, tissues. We just have basic necessities where kids can just come, and it serves the middle school, the high school, and the elementary schools. And it's just very simple things that can help myself and colleagues.
So these are donations coming
They're
from community
donations,
sources?
yes, that people can make to the school.
Do the students have a token or something that they use to literally shop, or
They come as needed. They can tell a teacher. We try to keep it private. There's the
I see.
doors. The
Yeah.
window is blocked. There's I keep a supply of bags on hand in there, and they can come in. A teacher can bring them. They can just, most kids do have a trusted adult in the school that they can come to and say, I think I need to, check out the Minutemen Market, or they know it's there, and they can come and they can just take what they need and put it in the bag and leave. And it's little stuff that makes, I'll just give you an example. A school nurse who at the high school has teen girls come when it's that time of month, and they need a change of clothes, they need underwear, they need feminine products, and so we had that donated through the care portal, and it made the nurse's day. I have all of these things now that I can help the students that I work with, and it's just been wonderful. Nobody has to leave school. They have stuff right in school that they can take from and finish out their school day. So it's trying to keep families' basic needs met at home, and then when the children are in school, trying to meet what needs we can in the school. And I mean, you could have a child that has just one pair of socks, and so we have a ton of socks. And for some reason, socks are really popular. We go through socks a lot. So it's very simple things.
Socks aren't the quality they used to be. That's certainly part of it.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
I do have two follow-up questions to that, because I can almost hear the energy behind that and people in the community watching going, I can do that. So my two questions: How do they make the donations? Do they bring them to the school directly, or is there a drop-off point? And then what are your top few items that you know consistently? I hear socks for sure.
Socks, deodorant. That was just resupplied recently, and I'm almost completely out of deodorant. Body wash. And the combination body wash, like the body wash, and it's body wash, it's shampoo, all in one, conditioner. That goes, like we said, socks, school supplies.
Okay.
Shoes.
Shoes. We don't. We get a lot of things for girls and women clothing, but we don't have a lot for the boys. Gym shorts.
And does it all need to be new?
It does not,
Okay.
as long as the clothing is gently used. And even help with organizing the Minutemen Market, because that's usually myself or my colleagues will try to take some time to keep that organized. So even if we could have help with trying to keep it
volunteers.
organized.
Great
and-
volunteer opportunity.
Yeah.
And then how do they make the donations?
So what I would say, if somebody is interested in making a donation, they could reach out to whatever, Bedford County School
Okay.
that they would like to make the donation to, and they could ask for the youth and family specialist for that zone.
I see.
Wonderful.
Seems like a perfect opportunity for a business corporation to have a big impact with some supplies. But as we said earlier, it's just maybe all of us doing little things in a big way can have a big impact. Anything else that you need?
I mean, I've said Care Portal is
Yes.
wonderful.
Yep.
So
Keep responding to those Care Portal needs out
if
there.
there's a need, put on Care Portal to be, aware of Care Portal, joining Care Portal. I've seen lots of needs met, and you put the need on, and you really, I know myself, I hold my breath until somebody responds back. And then when I get that response back, I'm so relieved that we're
Yes.
able to help
Yeah.
the family
Yeah.
and relieve a lot of stress.
Are you surprised at how quickly sometimes they're met?
It's pretty quick. I mean,
Yeah.
I have been really impressed.
Yeah.
I've put a need on Care Portal at 9:00 in the morning, and I've had a response within 4 hours.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So it's been great. I've used it now with Bedford County Schools, and I used it a lot when I worked for Lynchburg Social Services, and it's been great. It's been a stress reliever for myself as well as the families. So it's just a wonderful platform for the community.
Susan, I'm really grateful you said a moment ago, not that I'm grateful that you feel the pressure, but you shared that you feel that pressure on behalf of your families when you put a need out there and you hold your breath until it's met. And I think that pressure is a piece that the community might often forget, that our social workers and our school personnel and staff, our lunch ladies, our bus drivers, they feel on behalf of these children who are growing up in the school system. They're going to go off and graduate and face the world. But while they're there, there's a whole lot of people that feel on their behalf, aren't there?
It's hard not to. You get to know these kids, and you interact with the families, and you are intimately aware of the struggles. And when you are able to build the relationship and the rapport with these folks, they do really start to kind of pour their heart out. And it, like I said, if you could just meet simple needs for folks, so that it kind of frees up some of their brain energy to be tackling some of the harder things in their life.
Wow. That's a beautiful way to say it, and a great way to close this segment of Community Connection. Do you have any big takeaways from today, Nicolette?
I love the reflection of the mental load that can be shared. And it's just such a call to action for the community to know there's a little thing you can do, big impact.
Yep. Thanks for joining us today. And as we leave, just remember, some little thing can have a really big impact. So why don't you be intentional about that today? We'll see you next Thursday.
Nobody gets to choose their family. If a person is fortunate enough to be born into a healthy family, then life can be much like floating down a smooth, gentle river in the summertime. But an unhealthy family is like a dangerous river, filled with rocks, debris, and fast-moving water. This river swiftly leads to the steep waterfall of adulthood, tragically forming a new river of dysfunction. Even if you aren't born into an unhealthy river, there are many streams that cause a person to get there. But there is only one way to get out, and that is through a meaningful relationship. Across our region, there are many agencies, churches, and families who are devoted to helping children escape from unhealthy rivers. Some feel their role is to wade in and rescue children. They foster, adopt, or provide safe families. Others stand by the river and support the rescuers by providing what they need. Still, others are upstream and stand in the gap to keep children from ending up in the negative situations. At Patrick Henry Family Services, we see ourselves as having an additional role. We are running up and down the shores of the unhealthy river, screaming, "Can't you see the children in the water? You have to do something." Vision 30 is a 10-year initiative. By 2030, we envision a region where all children are safe in their own family, or with caregivers who are supported by a local faith community. So, where do you stand at the river? Are you upstream, keeping families together and strong by standing in the gap? Are you in the river, directly impacting children? Are you on the shore, providing support for the brave folks who have entered the river? Or are you just passing by without noticing? No matter who you are, come down to the river with us. Let us help you find your place. Not only will lives be changed, but you will never be the same.